Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here. Little Joan finally calming down. Holy cow. I don't know what I did to upset her, but she was not calming down. Walkies must have really wound her up. I don't know. Anyhow, this is horrendous. Now, as you know, I've written a bunch of books. Wokeistan, a novel. Hollywoke coming soon. The Pineys, and many others. Go to my Amazon profile there. You can see them. So this is near and dear to my heart. California's school district bans To Kill a Mockingbird, Huckleberry Finn, and other classic novels. Why? Racism. Because everything has to be exactly the way it should be, according to the critical race theorist in 2020. Because nothing else can have context, because context can be so triggering. The Burbank Unified School District in California, surprise, surprise, has banned several classic literary works that contain racial slurs. To Kill a Mockingbird, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn are two of the classics on the district's new list of banned books. Of Mice and Men, Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. I don't know that one. But I do know the other books. I read them when I was in high school. And they are classics. But, I'm sure they have other classics in mind, like White Fragility and the 1619 Project. I'm sure they can't wait to get those books in the schools. This is why the American school system is falling apart. These zealots. And again, I gotta say it, a lot of this is driven by women, the culture of women. Not all women, but there are a lot of female teachers, a lot of them. And they want to solve everything. They want to make everything perfect and wonderful and nice and everybody to get along. What they don't understand is that's not possible, but they won't stop trying. This is why I think women lean left, why communism is so appealing to them. The idea that, everybody gets an equal share. Everybody gets a nice house and a job and a place to live, and everybody will be happy and get along. That doesn't happen, and you have to accept it. I don't want people to fight. I don't want people to be poor and suffer. And I think some rich people are a-holes. Believe me, I've met some. But that is the world. It will always be the world. Any system you attempt to put in place to even out everybody will always have people who will rise above it. Whether they're just incredibly talented or smart, or whether they're just ruthless and efficient at exploiting the system. It already exists. There's already a classic story. Oh, God. I should have memorized the name. What the hell's the title? It's I believe it's a Harlan Ellison story. It's about the kid. It's about the society where everybody's even. So the kid he's like strong and he's smart and he's got the best vision. He's got the best of everything. He's just an amazing guy. So they put weights on him and they put a helmet on his head to distract him, and they give him glasses so he can't see as good as everybody else. The whole idea is to make everybody exactly the same. And he leads the revolution or whatever. This is what, the microcosm is. I think I told this story of one of my relatives who couldn't take her two boys fighting. She couldn't understand why they would fight. It wasn't meant for her to understand, just to accept that boys fight. It's just a thing boys do. They roughhouse. They test their limits. And maybe that's just not part of the culture of women and they don't understand it. I don't know. But this is part of that. They claim the decision was made because of one incident where a student used a racial slur he learned from Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. And I can't repeat what he said because I don't know if YouTube will flag me. Yet another organization trying to even things out. But this is insane. You just take that kid aside and say, hey, knucklehead, do not use those words ever again. Those words are hurtful. You're being a little jerk. And here's a detention for a couple of weeks. And here's a note to send to your mother about your little mouth. That's what you do. You discipline the kid. You don't punish everyone in the school by removing the books. This is the problem with the leftist ideology. If something doesn't work, their reaction is to change the entire system. No. Just focus on the problem. Solve the problem. The problem here is some kid misinterpreted the book. Who knows what he meant by it? Maybe he was making an off-color joke in his own way. But you take him aside and you tell him that's inappropriate. You correct him. You tell his parents. And his parents will correct him. Or at least they should if they're even like halfway decent parents. But to ban all these classics in the school? What are you, nuts? This is why public schools are just a nightmare now. They're a nightmare. They have many, many problems, and they should be privatized. Because at least in a private school, customers will get service. Now, you might have similar problems. You might have people who demand critical race theory be taught in the school. I have no problem with that. If you want to send your kid that teaches nothing but critical race theory all day long, and you think that's good for your kid, that's up to you. But if there are lots of schools, they're not all going to teach that, and other people will pick other schools. And while the critical race theorist students could fail in life, the other students will succeed. I'm very confident of that. I'm very confident the school that has these classics will give kids a good education. They'll move upwards in a merit-based system, and they'll be fine. But if we have a non-merit-based system, that's a different story. And that's what we're headed towards. We're headed towards a ridiculous critical race-based theory system. Unless Trump wins and bans all this crap. I hate to tell you, but Biden's likely to say, yay, let's teach it all in the schools, because he's an old man and he doesn't understand. I don't even think he understands what it is. And even if he does, he probably doesn't care. He probably just says, well, this will make me look good. So I'm just disgusted by this kind of censorship. This is a form of book burning. And especially to classic literary works like this. I mean, To Kill a Mockingbird? Really? Really? You people ought to be ashamed. California is an S-hole.